Joe, let's get to this case down in Florida with Robert Kraft. Now, you're representing 30 or so other plaintiffs who are I guess, filing a class against the police department down there because of the videos that were taken. Now, the case isn't exactly like Robert's, but it's very tied to Robert's. What's the current status of, one, the video, and two, how this case evolves or will ultimately, I think, disappear?
It will disappear. I mean, it is tied into Robert's case. It's all the same because it's the same videotape, but it was like almost amateur hour in Jupiter, Florida, because, first of all, had this been Robert Smith or Robert Jones or Robert Anonymous, not Robert Kraft, no one would have heard of this case. They would have, would have been under the radar. But what happened is, he got ensnared in this thing, and then you had a state attorney, this guy Aaron Berg, who said, "Oh boy, this is my chance." And now, he's on the networks, he's on every show as a legal analyst, having nothing to do with Kraft, except the other morning on MSNBC, he was talking about the Kraft case and the suppression of the videotape, which was deemed illegal, by the way, and I'll get into that in a second. But, he should be more worried about, making sure his citizens in Jupiter, Florida's constitutional rights aren't being violated, that his law enforcement officers don't commit, violations of the law instead of going on TV and pontificating about his own cases. But that being said, what happened here was really outrageous. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've been a prosecutor for a while, and been a defense attorney for even longer. I've never seen a case where I can honestly say this is an enormous waste of law enforcement resources and money. I mean, does anyone really care?
No.
If an 80-something-year-old guy goes to a massage parlor,
don't care,
and gets a rub and tuck.
Don't care.
Anyone care?
Don't care.
And does the public have a need to see those videos? Because there's some press outlets that are demanding the release of those videos.
No.
God forbid we don't see those. We'll be much worse off as a society. But here's the reality of the situation.
We'll be worse off if we actually do see them.
There'll be scars for life. I mean, imagine that.
Especially if you believe what you heard, what happened. Not exactly conventional.
But look, here's the story. Here's what this case is about. In order to get something as pervasive as videotape surveillance, okay, a judge has to sign off on that. In order to get that, you have to allege a felony is taking place. Misdemeanor prostitution is not that. What they alleged was there was sex trafficking.
The trafficking,
human sex trafficking. Now, that scared a lot of people, and a lot of people
were like, and rightfully so.
Well, that's why you paid attention to the story.
Exactly. Of course, there was none of that. That was a ruse. That was literally pretextual and a made-up sort of hypothesis by some detective who put that in an affidavit, which enabled the judge to give them the ability to go videotape these people getting massages. People charged with crimes and people not charged with crimes.
You're right.
Later, the state attorney actually went out there and said, even in Jupiter, Florida, there's slavery. I mean, what? Moron. How can you say that? And then subsequently, his office took the position that, there was no evidence of human sex trafficking. I just said that stuff.
Now, I was talking to Berkowitz about this because Berkowitz represents about a few people, including Mr. Kraft. And one of the things that he positioned it like this: if there was evidence of shoplifting in JCPenney, right, and a police officer goes and gets surveillance. Permission for surveillance in a JCPenney, and you and me go in and we buy clothes and try them on at JCPenney, have nothing to do with the shoplifting, but get taken pictures of naked. Now all of a sudden that's okay, even though it's not okay, and especially if there was no real evidence of shoplifting. That's the parallel. That's essentially what your clients are protesting.
It goes even further than that, because when you get something as intrusive as surveillance, either wiretap surveillance or videotape surveillance, you have to do something that's a basic tenet of that, which is called minimization. And what does that mean, minimization? It means that law enforcement is not allowed to just put a camera in a room, let it rip for 24 hours, come back in 5 days and grab all the tapes. They have to sit and watch as the tapes are being conducted to make sure there's criminality. They have
similar to a wiretap, and you have to get off after a certain amount of time.
And you have to report to the court.
Log on,
none of this
log
stuff
off.
was done. And you have to. And if you're recording evidence, recording something that is not evidence of a crime, you have to shut the recording off. So you had all these people. I mean, I represent a range of people from, 40-year-old men with herniated discs who went into by the way, this place was a licensed massage parlor. People are joking around about it. But it was licensed. I mean, it had a license.
Of course.
People went in there for legitimate massages. And in a state of undress, it's like putting a camera in a bathroom. I mean, in a state of undress where you have an expectation of privacy and you've done nothing wrong, you're being videotaped in a state of undress. I have a 75-year-old lady who was in one of those rooms.
Yeah.
You can imagine how she feels.
Oh, boy.
Just this thing is perilously close to you go home and sit down for the 11 o'clock news with your family, and whoops, there you are on the evening news.
How does this go away?
Wow.
Because I feel like we've all been waiting for it to go
here's how
away.
it goes away.
But it's not.
It's on the way to going away, but there's different things that have to go away. The first thing that has to go away is the case. Now, again, we represent the Does, Johns, and Janes, right, who were not charged, but who were videotaped.
Yes.
We filed a federal action under the civil rights laws, 1983 civil rights action, and that's something that we're pursuing. And the goal there is to make sure these tapes never see the light of day, okay? The criminal case is going away because the videotapes have been suppressed by multiple courts now. Two judges have deemed them illegal. They're illegal because they violated the Fourth Amendment. They violated the basic tenets of surveillance minimization. There was no minimization done. So they were deemed illegal. There's no evidence. The case now is it's on its deathbed. But, of course, the prosecutors, instead of bowing out gracefully here, are appealing. They have zero. I'm telling you, there's zero chance on appeal because they didn't minimize.
Yeah.
So they're just buying time. Hopefully that the press is going to sort of go away over time, and then eventually will dismiss, which is not the way it's supposed to be. They should have dismissed this case within a minute of those tapes being suppressed. That being said, not only do the tapes have to be suppressed, they have to be destroyed. Because if they're not destroyed, what's going to wind up happening
100%.
is they're going to get out there.
No doubt about it.
Illegal tapes captured by law enforcement illegally in violation of the voyeurism laws in Florida are going to get out in the public domain. As a matter of fact, we already had an instance where someone get their hands on these tapes. That means it came from law enforcement, unless someone broke into the Jupiter Police Department and stole the tapes, and tried to peddle these tapes to a media outlet. Okay, and the media outlet was, good enough not to buy these tapes because they're improperly obtained, and we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But someone's out there trying to get money for these tapes.
Not everybody was have that morals or the ethics or the awareness of the law.
Unfortunately, there are people who may have real damages here.
Yeah.
People who, including the Crafts and the charge defendants, whose these tapes have been deemed illegal.
Yeah, but Joe, I got a question for you. And I know that you deal. Joe Tacopina is with us in the studio, a lawyer representing it. So it's 30, just to set this up, 30 people who were not charged.
It's a class.
It's a class act suit. They were videotaped. They set up the sting at the spa. Robert Kraft, just tuning in, obviously. They weren't in there to get any sort of sexual favor, no massage. They wanted to get a massage, a normal massage, whether playing golf, coming from yoga, you have a herniated disc, you're 70 years old, a normal massage. They were videotaped, and now they're out there and they're vulnerable because they're naked and they had this set up improperly. Okay.
Correct.
So I know you deal with the law, but from a common sense point of view, how does Robert Kraft roll up in the light of day doing what he's doing? I mean, does he drive himself? Does he roll up in a limo? I mean, how do you do that if you're Robert Kraft?
He had someone with him, and Buddy was with him.
Okay.
And this guy going to get a massage. He's 80 years old. Don't forget, his wife has passed.
I understand that.
He went to get a massage, and he went to get a massage. And look, we all do.
I don't even care that he got the side action. I don't care about that. Have him come to your crib. Have him come to your mansion. Have him don't walk into a mall spa.
I'm down with that.
When you're getting a sexual act and you're Robert Kraft.
Maybe he was at Chipotle before. He was driving by and he saw the thing, and it said nice Oasis, and Oasis is a nice word.
He went from the suntan bed. He got a little something to eat. He hit a couple of beats, dropped a few putts on the country club, and he went and got a massage. You can't blame the guy.
Apparently, by the way, the lead masseuse in this place, this lady Wang, apparently is really good. According to all my clients,
oh really?
She's the best.
Yeah.
So what's her name? There's the man for whom?
No, Wang or something. No, I know it's Wang.
So she's hot. Some people want to serve.
She's licensed, first of all, and apparently she's a magic worker, according to my clients.
Yeah. Last word on this. What ultimately is the long-term, I guess, prognosis, like I'll say, for Robert Kraft? What is he damaged by this?
Nah,
come on. Because here's what happens. What I just said, and what you guys both agree to, who cares?
Yep.
Yeah. If he were doing something, if he were part of a human sex trafficking trade and feeding into that, then,
which he is not.
That's the thing, which he is not, and no one's alleged he is, except initially the state attorney, which he's taken back. He went backsies on that one. But at the end of the day, no one's looking at him thinking, "Oh my God, it's not this is not a Me Too movement thing, right?" Please, two consensual adults, if that was that.
Yeah.
I've not seen that tape, but so let's not make it bigger than it is. And by the way, if the case is dismissed legally, he's not in legal jeopardy.
Yeah.
He was man enough to say, "I'm sorry for whatever embarrassment I caused," which he didn't have to do because he's not convicted of anything.
Yep.
But so I don't think it's going to matter a lick. I mean, this is a good guy. Yeah. I don't know him, but you know, when my client Meek Mill had some problems, you know, he's one of the guys who actually went into that jail in Philadelphia and went to him. He's a good guy. He's done a lot of great
He's created
things.
a lot of goodwill. Robert Kraft has a lot of allies.
I mean, I hate the Patriots, but I'm a Robert Kraft fan because he's a good person. His son's a good guy, and these people have done a lot of good things. Yep. You know, on a philanthropic basis. Yep. And really, this is what we're going to take someone down on. This is not.
That's not right.
This is not drugs. This is not, you know, bad stuff that people do. This is not that.